So Kenny Pickett is going to make his highly anticipated NFL start in Orchard Park, New York, this upcoming Sunday against the Buffalo Bills in Highmark Stadium. We're going to talk about what should we expect to see from the young rookie and what we should expect to see from the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget, we're giving away 2 tickets to see the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Vegas Raiders on Christmas Eve in Acrisure Stadium. The only thing you have to do right now is be a subscriber and stay tuned for further details. Details are actually in the description. That being said, guys, please hit that notification button, ring that bell, like and subscribe. I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers, and welcome to the Huddle. So no bigger test than the Buffalo Bills, a team that has been highly expected to be the AFC representatives in the Super Bowl this upcoming year, a team that is favored to win this game by 14 points. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-touchdown dogs. It's been talked about a lot here recently that this is the biggest underdog or biggest difference in margin of victory or whatnot in a very long time. And I think that the last time they were not favored by this much was, I think it was the Super Bowl against the Cowboys when they were like 13 points underdogs or something like that. So it's this uncharted territory, so to speak, unfamiliar territory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think it's one that the Pittsburgh Steelers are up for the challenge. Up first for Kenny Pickett is going to be one of the hardest teams, like we mentioned before, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are coming in hot, creating turnovers, controlling ball games, and getting to the quarterback with the minimum amount of pressure. They've been doing very well with Von Miller and getting pressure to the quarterbacks by only sending 4, which is allowing guys like Jordan Poyer to get quite a few interceptions thus far. I believe he's the only he's the NFL leading interceptor, or has a leading in interceptions right now, ahead of Minka Fitzpatrick. And so this is going to be a tall order, a tall task, but I do think that there could be some success for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, when you look at the Buffalo Bills, they're just like the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to injuries. They've taken a few. Now, if you go back to the first week of the season when the Pittsburgh Steelers took on the Cincinnati Bengals, they were on the field for 100 snaps. Fatigue, injuries, things of that nature played its toll. The Buffalo Bills were chasing Lamar Jackson last week for over 38 minutes, something like that. The time of possession, Bills possessed the ball for only 21 minutes and 50 seconds. That's huge. That defense was on the field a lot, and it showed up in the injury report. You have guys like cornerback Christian Bedford with a hand. You have their middle linebacker Tremaine Edmonds with a hamstring, who did not participate as well, and Jordan Poyer, who was one of their leaders on their defense. Had a couple of interceptions last week, I believe. He's also on the injury report. Now, those are guys that didn't participate. Limited participation was Ed Oliver, their defensive tackle, and also Jordan Phillips. In my opinion, this could mean that their defense is going to be hindered. Not also to remember that currently on IR, not to say he's not coming off, but I'm not sure if he will or not. I don't think so. Tre'Davious White, he's probably not going to play in this game either. And so when you look at that and you look at the amount of injuries that they had and the amount of time that the Buffalo Bills were on the field, it would be probably in the benefit of the Pittsburgh Steelers to try to run the ball. Last week, Najee Harris, it appeared that he started to make some gains there. In the second half, it was a little bit unfortunate for the Pittsburgh Steelers that they went away from the run. I have no idea why. It was working for them, and especially when you have a 10-point lead, and a rookie quarterback in without a full week of preparation, you would think that the offensive coaching staff would, put an emphasis on the run. Well, I think they're going to have to do that this week. Now, I had just had a conversation with Dave Schofield in referencing to the running game, and we spoke about on this past Tuesday on Behind the Steel Curtain, and we spoke about how the Pittsburgh Steelers went away from the run. And like I said, I thought that was something curious, or odd, because of the fact that you had a rookie quarterback coming in the middle of the game, not with a full week of preparation. And I'm reminded, and I brought this up, and I was reminded by last year when the Pittsburgh Steelers started Mason Rudolph for Ben Roethlisberger, who had COVID-19 at the time. or had tested positive for COVID-19. Uh, in that game, Mason Rudolph threw the ball a tremendous amount. I brought up the question: do you think that the reason why he threw the ball so much was because it's Mason Rudolph and that's his, what he favors to do, or is it possible because that was what the game plan was going into the week? Ben Roethlisberger went down the day before the game, so it's not like they could have changed the game plan completely. They had to go with what they had practiced the entire week and what they were, preparing for. And so they ran a Ben Roethlisberger style offense with Mason Rudolph. I think that could have been somewhat similar of what was happening yet this past Sunday against the New York Jets when Kenny Pickett came in. He was throwing the ball more often and frequently than probably most would have anticipated for his debut because of the fact that that was probably what the game plan was. The game plan was to do that. However, the Pittsburgh Steelers need to learn how to adjust and to change things around. I understand they're most comfortable doing 2 minutes and doing a 2-minute drive and 7 shots and goal line and things of that nature, because that is what they practice and they implement a tremendous amount of time towards as early on as in training camp, throughout the year, et cetera. And so, in my opinion, in those times, in those situations, the Steelers are getting away from the run, and they really shouldn't. They need to really rely on Najee Harris. He's a guy, in my opinion, that can, wear down a defense, especially a defense who, like I mentioned before, was on the field for a tremendous amount of time chasing Lamar Jackson last week. Calvin Austin III returned to practice, opening the 21-day window of the possibility of him returning back to the team. I'm not sure he returns to this game. However, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have somebody as speedy as Calvin Austin on the field, especially to tire down and to wear out a defense that was running after Lamar Jackson last week. If the Steelers can take a playbook from the New England Patriots, offense is what they did, or game plan is as far as what they did to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that was coming in tired, fatigued, and injured. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers could have a chance offensively to control this game, maintain time of possession, and eventually give the Pittsburgh Steelers an opportunity to win. I don't think that the Steelers are going. This is an uphill climb. This is a great defense. Von Miller, he's a tremendous talent. He is a future Hall of Famer. He has struggled in the past against Chuks Okorafor. He stated so in a press conference, highlighting Chuks Okorafor's abilities and how he's played and how he's overlooked, so to speak. And so I think this is going to be a tough matchup for the rookie. I expect the offense to probably lean a little bit more on the run. I expect I don't think the Steelers are going to handcuff him. There's a lot of fear out there that the potential is they're going to do what they did to Mitch Trubisky and handcuff him and not allow him to make decisions or change things at the field, at the line of scrimmage based on what he sees, and or also not allow him to, throw the ball deep or give him, encouragement or fall from discouraging from throwing the ball over the middle or throwing the ball deep. A lot of talk out there was that potentially, there was, the coaching staff telling Mitch Trubisky, don't make a turnover, don't do this, don't do that. And I understand those things. When you have a quarterback like Mitch Trubisky who was making some questionable decisions, whether it was running out of bounds without throwing the ball away or not seeing the field clearly and or not throwing or making the decision to throw on time or within time, and thus probably leaning a little bit of doubt towards him as far as the offensive goes. I've had plenty of discussions with Mark Davison and Nathan Hines from the we have a merry-go-round podcast that will be coming out on Tuesday called on my show, called the Unofficial Steelers Podcast. And I asked them the question, like, when it's been brought up, like, as far as Mr. Trubisky being allowed to change plays or do audibles. And I asked, based on the decisions that you're seeing him make and the indecisions that he makes, would you trust him as an offensive coordinator to change your plays? Context matters, and the fact that Mr. Trubisky may or may not have, know the offense as well as perhaps maybe Kenny Pickett does or even Mason Rudolph does, that would allow him to be able to navigate within the playbook to change certain things and concepts that he's seeing on the field based on what's being presented to him, so to speak. And so, I've said it for a while now, Kenny Pickett, in my opinion, although wasn't in the pros last year, played a pro-style offense that, in my opinion, was much more similar to Matt Canada's offense versus what maybe perhaps Mr. Trubisky came from in in Chicago. I know that there was some similarities in the Buffalo Bills offenses where he was a backup last year, but it's not the same. And so, there's this offense here, in my opinion, Matt Canada's is more of a college offense, a little bit not so complex on the concepts there for the receivers, and it the Steelers have, you can tell by the way they run the ball with the or roll out. I'm sorry, the quarterback, that they're cutting the field in half, cutting the decisions in half, and so it's a less complex offense, but it's still a pro offense and an offense that Kenny Pickett, in my opinion, has a little bit more experience in. He's run an RPO before, and is not afraid to run. As far as we saw, he has 2 rushing touchdowns in the last game. So I think that the skies are bright for Kenny Pickett, and there's a good opportunity for him to make some noise. And I think he has the swagger and he has the moxie, so to speak, to go in there, to be confident, to deliver the ball, and be confident in what he sees. And he's going to have an opportunity against a defense that's banged up and tired. And so there's the opportunity. It's not a big one. Margin of error is pretty small. So, 3 interceptions, again, regardless if they're coming off of the receiver's hands or not, is not going to do it in this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to play almost flawless game and, be mistake-free, control the penalties, things of that nature. And then there's a possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers to come out with a victory. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. My prediction is going the opposite direction. However, I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers keep it close and they cover. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Please let me know in the comment section what you guys think Kenny Pickett can do in this game. Let me know a stat line. I think Kenny Pickett can throw for 250 to 280 yards, maybe throw for 2 touchdowns in this game, and run for 1. He's going to need to do so if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this game. But one stat that's most important, if we expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to win, is a big goose egg in the interception column. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what y'all's stat line is. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Ring that notification bell. That way you're notified of all of our daily segments and weekly lives. Also, that way you're also entered into the contest and you have all the information ahead of you. That way you have the greatest opportunity to win those tickets on October 30th at the post-game show. The Eagles versus Steelers game. Again, we're giving away 2 tickets in the lower level to the Vegas Raiders Steelers matchup on Christmas Eve at halftime. They'll be retiring Franco Harris's number. It's your opportunity to make to see history in the making. This is the 3rd jersey officially retired, or 3rd number, officially retired by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you don't want to miss it. Hit that like and subscribe button. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers. Peace.